Hi, welcome to our little tutorial of today. We're gonna be doing a soft glam makeup, and I wanted to start it from like number one step, skincare. So I have completely no makeup on my face, I have nothing on my skin, and we're gonna go and give it a try. So we're gonna start with Fix Plus. If you don't know this, you absolutely should. Fix Plus is the first step in everyone's routine because it has green tea extract as well as gurke extract inside, and both things, cucumber extract, both things help us to calm the skin and helps us to prepare it for our next step, which is gonna be a little bit of a serumizer. Serumizer is such an interesting product. Serumizer is a cocktail from actives. Actives are ingredients that are gonna change the structure of your head, of your skin. This has ceramides, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and our star product, the most important thing, peony extract. So in combination, this is gonna go for a really soft, smooth, very like juicy skin that is not gonna be oily because it's a very light formula, and it's gonna help us to have with time a more even skin tone and skin texture. That is really important. And because this was developed from us to all of you, we have a little bit of a tacky feeling to it, so that is perfect before the makeup, so that it holds the makeup better. Now I'm gonna go with Serumizer Eye, our newest addition to the family. In comparison to our Serumizer, the Serumizer Eye does not have anything else but our star ingredient, which is gonna be our peony extract, as well as two key ingredients for under the eye care, vitamin C and niacinamide. And in this case, vitamin C and niacinamide are gonna be responsible for a little bit of a more not pigmented under eye area. So sometimes we have pigments there that make it look dark. The vitamin C is gonna help us lighten up a little bit. After that beautiful moment of skin prep, my skin is ready to go directly straight with our Studio Fix foundation. Now, all the girlies are now new to our Studio Skin foundation, our Studio Fix foundation, but this is a very classic formula. We renovated about a year ago, but what's really interesting about it is that it has red algae extract inside that is going to help us with the oil production. It's going to help us control the oil production on the skin. I like to use it with a spatula because I want to do a little bit medium coverage, so the entire full packing effect from it with less texture. And it's a very gel-like formula. So what I like about this is that it's super easy to blend. I like to use the spatula just to make sure that it's evenly distributed in my skin and I have to do a lot less work. This is something that I've learned from a couple of Korean tutorials. So now that we have our foundation with the spatula, I am gonna go with a dual fiber brush. This is a 130 and I'm just gonna blend everything. Dual fibers are really good for that natural looking finish, which is soft glam for sure, because it's not gonna take away the coverage. It's not heavy enough to take the coverage of your foundation, but it is gonna blend in like an airbrush way. They're making a huge comeback because we wanna have that filtered like skin with little to no work. So I really like for that my dual fiber brush. And it tends to make it look a little bit lighter. It's almost like we're infusing our foundation with a little bit of air without losing all that coverage. Just gonna blend really quickly. And if I'm looking down, I'm so sorry, I have a mirror right here, but I will change to a hand mirror so that I can stay eye level to eye level with you guys. So once our foundation is fully blended, let me take a look and see that that's the case. Yep, fully blended. We're gonna have this amazing Studio Fix texture, which is really smooth looking skin. For our next step, I'm gonna go with a new ally of the brand. This is our Studio Radiance Concealer. So Studio Radiance concealer right here, it's new to us in the sense that it just came out last year, but it's not new to us in principle, which is right now, this concealer is 80% skincare. And because it's 80% skincare, it gives us a more skin-like texture with all the benefits of the vitamin C and niacinamide that this concealer has. I like to do the dots around my face, and if you were to join the dots together, you're gonna see that I have a light, like a little diamond. Oh, sorry, German, English. A little diamond. That is exactly what I want. I want to focus a lot of lightness around the center of my face, but this concealer packs a punch. So we want to use as little as possible because it is very, 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 very covering. So little goes a long way. And now we're going to blend it. I'm using a 217 here to blend. And I want to blend in this area going upwards because I want to tilt my eyes upwards. And I'm going to blend it into my foundation. I like to do foundation before and then concealer later because I like to give my foundation time to work, to cover those areas that I already know like for example, needs less coverage. And with areas that maybe they will need a little bit more, I'll do it with concealer. And I like to start my concealing right here under the eyes, because the less product I have there and the more bright it looks like, the less I have to concern myself with too heavy of a contour. So the light alone is gonna give me dimension to the skin. There we go, almost there. Let's take a look and see that everything is really well blended. Yes, amazing. So now that everything is super well blended, let us go with our beautiful and amazing and right now very needed Give Me Sun. Give Me Sun is a bronzer from our Mineralized line. Mineralized is a really good line if you have a little bit of texture on your skin, or you, like me, are an oily queen. Why? Because the ingredients in our mineralized powders help us to control a little bit the oil production without drying out the skin. So now that I have a mineralized powder, this is Give Me Sun. I'm gonna go exactly and do as Give Me Sun promises, which is give me a little bit of sun. I wanna go a little bit across the forehead. I am using a super fluffy brush to make it really, really soft. I don't want too much detail with this bronzer. I wanna go on the top of my cheekbones, almost as if the sun was hitting my face, because as it says, it's gonna give us a little bit of sun. A little bit across the bridge of my nose. And I like to use a little bit on the chin as well. I don't want it super, super like strong. I want it to be very blended into my skin. Now it's time for a little bit of contouring. For this, I am using a face palette from us. This is part of our Lunar Year collection, but you can actually do it as well with Harmony, which is a beautiful color for this. And I want to start moving my brush as if it was kissing a little bit my skin, going upwards. I want to be hugging my bone. So instead of a line going outwards, I want to blend upwards because I want to blend in the direction of what I want to do with my face, which is to lift. I don't want it to pull it down. Exactly the same principle I'm applying to the eyebrow bone here. And a little bit under my chin. For a quick reference, these are the shades that I'm using right now. And upwards. How strong or how soft depends on your style, of course, but it also will depend a little bit on our technique. As you can see, I am using a very fast brush and I'm patting it in. So tap, 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 and then I am blending it. Because I am putting powder on top of an unsetted foundation, this tapping motion is necessary for the foundation to first assimilate the color, and then I can like softly dance with my brush on top of my skin so that it helps me blend. Let's do a little bit on my nose. There we go. And if I was really to snatch my face, I could actually go a little darker. And pay attention to this. I want to go just a single point right under my cheekbone. Right there. Right there. And then we want to blend with a little circle. I like to use my brushes very smartly. So I like to use the tips of my brush to apply the product and the body of my brush to blend everything. There we go. That's very pretty. Okie doke. Now for our next step, we're going to go with blush. For blush this time around, I am going to use Lovejoy. Lovejoy is something that absolutely everybody has been loving on TikTok, and there is a reason why. It's just going to be that beautiful blushy tone that is sun-kissed, because we are really going for our sun-kissed effect here. I'm going to go on the other side, and just as I did my concealer here and I put my contour here, it's like a little bit of a sandwich, let's say. I want to do my blush really high up on my cheek, on the top of my cheek. Not under it, but on top. This is going to give me that lifted effect. There we go. And exactly the same on the other side. Because I want to elongate my face, I want to do it under my eye and under the like little tail of my eyebrow. That is looking gorgeous. Thank you, if I say so myself. I'm going to put a little bit across my nose, a little bit across my forehead, and a little bit on my chin. There we go. It's looking fresh. It's looking lively. Now, for a little bit of extra glow, I'm going to take Double Gleam, which is from our Extra Dimension line, and I'm going to take it across my cheekbones for good measure. Lovejoy is going to give me a little bit of a shine. I don't know if you can see it, but Double Gleam is just going to lift that area a little bit. And for extra volume, we want to highlight here. Remember that I put some concealer there? I want to highlight there. You'll see, believe me. Amazing. Now that we have our skin ready, it's time for us to go with eyes. I am gonna go, I'm sorry, I've been traveling, so I have it in travel size. A little bit of our 24-hour eye base. And I'm gonna place this with my fingers all over my lid. And I'm gonna show you a trick that has been pretty revolutionary, if I say so myself, within my routine. I am placing a little bit of a dull lip on both eyes. It's not looking super pretty, but it will work. And I'm gonna blend it all over my lid. Yeah. And against the grain of my eyebrow. I know. Eye primer on the eyebrow, how does that work? But the truth about it is, if you are an oily girl like me, sometimes our eyebrow products tend to not last as long. Especially if you, like me, have really straight, naturally straight hair. So I'm gonna blend this here. And I wanna blend it with my finger because the warmth of my finger is allowing me to have a really thin layer. Thin layers are gonna be your friends in this case. Next step, for my eyebrows, I am a huge fan of our, give me a second, let's change mirrors for a second. I am a huge fan, and I'm not kidding with this, of our beautiful mirror. Okay, we have a mirror here. I'm a huge fan of our Big Brow Boost Eye Gel. Because this is a gel, I don't need to do much. I am going to go exactly how I did with my eyebrow, my eye base, against the grain of my eyebrow, and then in the right direction. And because I have that eyebrow base there, this is going to last me the entire day. It's going to give me a little bit of pigment, not too much. I'm sorry. And voila. A little bit of a defined eyebrow without being too much. It's not going to look super made up. We're going to go against the grain again. And then in the right direction. There we go. Now, something extra that I like to do is that I like to go with my finger and press them a little bit, going upwards. It's not a full laminated effect, don't get me wrong. I know the girls that enjoy that. I don't necessarily enjoy that. I like to just press the tiniest bit. Just a tiny bit, just like that. Now let's go into eyes. So to go into eyes, I am gonna go with a trusty good friend of mine. It's called Groundwork. Groundwork is one of our paint pots, and I'm gonna go with a little bit of it. I don't need much. I already have my eyelid base painted, my eye base. But I wanna go all over my lid. And you can see that I'm doing like a little tapping motion. Groundwork is a really interesting color because it's a cold tone brown. So it really helps me to do blending really easy for me. And I am gonna go with it all the way into my lid. And then I'm gonna start blending. Inwards and outwards. There we go. Amazing. Awesome. And now for the start of my show, I could do a one woman show on this lip pencil. This is called Root for Me. This is one of our newer like lip shades for lip liners. And with this one, I'm gonna go against the grain of my eye lashes. And I'm just gonna do a thicker line outside. Right now, I don't care if it's clean looking or not. Don't worry about it. We're blending creams over creams, and there's a reason for this. We're gonna do exactly that on the other eye. I wanna cover you. There we go. That is perfect. In my eye shape, I don't wanna do it too heavily on the center because I don't want to drag my eyes down. I wanna drag them up. So, I am sorry, my cat is around. I want to use now a brush that is very precise, and I want to blend this amongst my groundwork. Oh, look at that. It's super easy to blend, it's super creamy. And then I'm gonna start slowly extending it outwards. There we go. Like that. Other side. And as you can see, I am not doing circles or anything. I'm just dragging back and forth, back and forth. A little bit of like a windshield effect here. Now, we can of course do outwards, but then we need to find the angle. I find that when we do it backwards, like going from the outside inwards, the angle sort of finds us already. I don't know if this makes a lot of sense, but the angle, it's easier to control it if we're going inwards, not outwards. When we're around here, we are gonna blend everything together with help of our groundwork brush. And we are almost ready for our two final steps for this eyeshadow look. So, I am gonna take my I am gonna take a little bit of woodwing, and I am gonna blend it with a brush that is a little bit fluffy. And I want a fluffy brush for this because I don't want a lot of harshness into this like look. So woodwing is beautiful, and it's gonna go on top of my lid just like this. Other side. And I'm gonna blend it all over, even on top of that darkness that I just blended with Root for Me. Just like this. I can go with this color a little bit over my lid, so when I start looking forward like this, I can still see my eyeshadow. This is super helpful, especially if we have like a little bit of a hooded eye. Amazing. Perfect. See that? That's amazing. That's super easy. Of Shady Santa on top of the same brush. You don't need an extra brush. And we are gonna tap it on the outside. Tap, 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 tap. So just in the corner of my eye, and then I'm gonna start blending it inwards. Exactly on the other side. Tap, tap. And I wanna blend inwards because sometimes if I blend outwards, I will lose control over how dark or how big this eyeshadow will look like. We just don't want that. We want to have definition, but we don't want the darkness. There we go. And you can see that I'm like doing half circles going inwards and letting go of my brush. That is usually going to help me direction the eyeshadow to blend and have still this very sharp line. I tend to love doing this because it just gives me control and it lifts the eyes, and it's a little dramatic, but it depends. If I do it with a softer color, it's going to be a little bit of a softer effect, still giving me that lifted look. Now we're going to finish it up with two last ingredients. Eyeliner. I'm just going to do my eyeliner right underneath that angle. And I'm just going to concentrate in the outside corner. Like this. Other eye. Quick second, because your girl is blind. Now we're talking. And for a little bit of a highlight, I am gonna use the tiniest bit of nylon in a precise brush, just on the inside. So nylon just here. We just want it there. You can use nylon or you can use vanilla. Both are really pretty colors for this inside highlight. There we go. Since now we're talking about details, if you, for example, wear glasses, I sometimes wear glasses because your girl is blind. I like to go again with my darker shade here, a little bit under my pupil, not completely through, just under here. This will make sense once you are wearing your mascara, just there, not too big. And we can go with mascara. I'm just gonna curl my lashes and go straight with my super trustworthy MAC stack. So I'm gonna show you a quick trick with this. I'm just gonna quickly curl my lashes, and for that I need to see. Yes, I need to see. So curl lashes. There we go. And for your mascara, so you're gonna place your mirror down here, look up a little bit, and then put your wand there. Zigzag it, zigzag it, zigzag it. Make sure that your entire root is covered, and then we lift. And because my mirror is down here, I am not smudging mascara. Let's do the other side. Zigzag, zigzag. And we pull through. There we go. It's up to you if you want lower lash mascara. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm gonna quit here while I'm ahead. Now we go for the lips. So remember how I was making a poetry to root for me? I'm gonna use it again. Don't be afraid. I'm just gonna go over my lip form. And a cool trick if you're looking for volume, let me just settle this. Go from the corner into the tip, like this. From the corner into the middle, like this. So that is just my outside line. Now for extra volume, corner, just like this. And corner just like this. So if you really think about it, it's almost like I'm drawing a little parentheses and I'm filling in the space between the parentheses and the corner of my lip. Let's do the other side. There we go. And it's up to you how you blend this. Tip 1, the tip of your lip liner, and you blend. That works really well, actually. But if you are a girly like me, that likes to close it and be done with it, and maybe this will stain something, press your lips together. There we go. Now let me show you my trick. I like to take alone time. This is a luster glass finish, so it's gonna be a little bit see-through. And I go all over my lip. Quick sec. I just saw something. We're gonna fix it. Just a quick second. I just saw something and I'm just gonna blend a little bit of concealer there. Great. So we have alone time, right? And now I'm gonna go with one of my favorite nudes, Viva Planet. Just in the center. And you're gonna blend again. I told you, this is a soft glam look. Of course, you can tone it down going for a more natural look, but I like this a lot. I like how smoky the eyes are without being too dark. And I really love a little bit of a nude lip that is giving me drama. Now let's talk about setting. So we're basically done, but we want to set the makeup. And for that, we have Studio Fix. Studio Fix, wow. Fix plus Stay Over. The difference between these two, I get this asked almost every day. What is the difference between these two? This is to calm the skin and this is to hydrate the skin. If, for example, I would be having one of my drier days, I would have applied this between my layers of makeup. However, I am an oily girl. This usually is not for me. However, this is for me. Why? Because I'm an oily girl and oil tends to break apart makeup. So I want something that is going to protect and lock my makeup in place for 16 hours. This would be it. A trick that I like to do, and this is something oily girls around the world should be listening to, is if I find my powder. I found it. I like to take my powder, because right now we're glowing. I like to take my powder. I like to work my powder into my puff, like this. Massage it into it, girl. And I like to press. I like to press. I like to go all over my T-zone area. So usually we get oily on the T-zone because it's the first area of our face that is going to take wind and sun and all the aggressions of the world. So that's where I want to set, but I want to have this glow here. So that I'm not going to put powder over it. Now I'm going to go with a little bit of my Fix Plus. Make sure that you are liberal with it. We are going to let it dry. I'm just going to fan it a little bit here. And once I see or feel that it's really dry, this has to be dry. Sometimes, oh, there we go. This is dry. An oily girl like me needs a tiny bit more of fixing. So then I'm going to take my little Pura Costa puff. And I'm gonna blend again. I'm gonna tap again. No extra powder. We don't want to make it cakey. We just want to set again everything. Sometimes fixing sprays give us a little bit of a shine to the skin again. If you are a matte girly, this is wonderful, because this is gonna make sure that everything stays in place up to 16 hours. And this is our look for today. I hope you have learned a couple of tricks and tips and everything that is wonderful and nice. I hope you have a wonderful day today, and I'll see you sometime soon, I hope. See you next time.